GM, GM, trade of the day. So, going to look at honey, as I'm sure many of you have gotten interested in it since I mentioned it last night in trading analysis. I bought some, and this is one I've been tracking for quite a while. I need more snooze. I'm running out. Um, Really promising project. Actually, genuinely interesting, and a coin that I've been looking at for weeks. So basically, what it does is it's a new way of mapping. So it's trying to it's trying to compete with Google Maps. You might say, how can you compete with Google Maps? You can't. Actually, what they have is quite unique. They have dash cams, right? You buy a dash cam, you put it on your dash, and as you're driving around, you get paid in tokens for mapping the whatever the fucking world. You might say, well, why does that matter? Like Google Maps do that anyway, but they don't. Google Maps go around like maybe once every fucking 6 months or once a year in certain places. It doesn't have real time, up to date, live mapping imagery, whereas this can, because most of who this goes to is like Uber drivers, right, or whatever taxi drivers that are in your city. So it's really interesting. Um, Fucking what do you call them? The little scooter boys as well, like for food delivery drivers, DoorDash and shit like that. So they can just smash a dash cam on and just go around and get paid. So it's really interesting how this can be super viral, and the virality comes organically from word of mouth. Because imagine you're an Uber driver and you put this dash cam on, right? You shop the dash cam. How much is it? Like you buy a dash cam for 449, right? You buy a dash cam for 450, and you get honey. I don't know exactly how much they get or how they get it. I'm not sure if there's a quick way of showing how much they actually earn, but it is legit, right? This is legit. This is real. People are doing this right now. This is all absolutely real. This is not a fucking fraud or a scam. And there's 62,000 people doing it right now. But what's interesting is you're an Uber driver, you want to make a bit extra money, you get one of these dash cams, you put it on your dash, you get these tokens, you sell the tokens, you get real dollars, and you're like, what do? You tell other people. And a community of delivery drivers, whether it's like FedEx delivery or private delivery, people doing their own, Uber drivers, food delivery, whatever it is, if they all just start going on their forums and Reddit and talking and all this and saying, well, I'm doing this thing, this fucking, I don't know what it is, it's a cam, it's this crypto thing, but I'm getting money, and that money's real, getting these honey tokens, uh, it can get viral pretty quickly because it's $450. And which driver wouldn't do it? Like, why would you not? Right? It doesn't actually take that long to make back that amount of money. And again, you're driving anyway. So when I first heard about Hive Mapper, I was like, this was like months ago, and I was like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, you're gonna give people dash cams, and they have to go out and map the cities, and no one's gonna do that. And then it was like, obviously, there's people who drive for a living, but would there be enough? Would there be this? Would there be that? But I see the logic behind it. And anyway, so that's a bit of an insight into the project. Now, I don't give a shit about fundamentals if the chart doesn't look good and if I don't think that there's momentum in the chart. But the two best deep in coins on Solana are Hive Mapper and Helium currently. In terms of projects that are doing something kind of cool, right? Helium's the mobile network. So same thing, right? Instead of having people all over the world with the dash cams mapping the streets, there's people all over the world running nodes of decentralized wireless network. So you can have cellular network on the Helium mobile network, right? So you can actually have a mobile just like with Vodafone or whatever, except fully decentralized, which is super interesting, right? So Helium has obviously already done really well. The chart of Helium is looking great. Uh, what am I doing here? Right, helium coming up nicely out of its weekly base post bear market. Right, bands are green, rallying up nicely. Strong upward sloping accumulation. I would expect helium probably to just keep grinding up and then blast higher. Right, honey, much newer. I think it's only on CoinEx with the longest history, and then obviously Coinbase listed it whenever you had this crazy pump. So I've been tracking it since it went on Coinbase, and actually since before it went on Coinbase, because a friend told me about it. There's this Hive mapper. It's going to list on Coinbase, and this was when they announced. This is when Coinbase announced that they were going to list it. You know the thing they're doing, like to do with the cash, the transparency report. So they announced it here. It consolidated sideways, came back into a low, blasted off, Coinbase listing, insiders dumped, as they always do. Anything that goes fucking 4x or 5x in a couple of days, they're gonna people sell, they sell. Nice, strong, deep sell-off, all the way down 75%. But off the Coinbase listing, off the day itself, 58%. If you don't include the crazy wick, you include the daily open. So it's nice deep sell-off. Bands red, bands green, bands red, bands green. I like that pattern. Got a signal last night for it. Breaking out from this, how long is it? Fucking 15th. Yeah, about a 2 week or so. Just over 2 week consolidation. Higher low formed. And it's a decent project. And it's low cap, 22 cents. And it's on Coinbase. And we know that Coinbase retail like to ape stuff that's below $1 because it makes sense to their monkey brains. Yes, below $1. Me buy this. It go to dollar. Like that's the retail ape logic. And that is unironically true. Also, the ticker, honey. Sound cool, right? Catchy, honey, loads of memes you can do, right? Bees, all this kind of shit. It's very memeable, it's meme friendly, all this nonsense, right? So there's a bunch of things. Obviously, the first thing is reality, right? The project's legit, Solana's hype, Deepin is real, there's real people using it, there's potential for it to be a viral Ponzi. Actually, more than Helium. Helium's G, but Helium's 10 times bigger market cap. And in, you know, there's less incentive to use helium. The selling point of helium is I buy this mobile sim from helium because I like. I don't want to be using a big centralized company, right? I don't want to give all my data to Vodafone. I want to use a decentralized mobile network. That's cool. That's cool for me and you who care about that. Most people won't care, and so what I would look at that and say is right. The average person isn't going to care. So, like for the 1% of the world who cares about that, they already get a helium phone. Cool. Then they tell their friends, "Oh, look, there's this phone and it's decentralized." And they're like, "What does that even mean?" It means you don't have to give all your data to Vodafone. They're like, "Well, Vodafone already has my data. Why would I move?" One of the things helium does have going for it is that it's cheaper in a lot of places. I think from what I've heard, they say, "Oh, well, it's cheaper," and they're like, "Okay, how much cheaper?" Well, it's $20 a month instead of 25 a month. Yeah, I've been with Vodafone for 5 years. There's going to be a lot of friction there. I get it. So with helium over 1 billion, and I think helium goes higher. I think it's great. But there's not like they're not paying people to use it. They're literally paying people to use honey. It's the same as the Ponzi's from last cycle. Play to earn, walk to earn, fucking eat to earn. This is now drive and map the fucking country to earn. And that's positive. That's how you basically are giving out tokens as an incentive to try and acquire users. Because when you acquire users, you get a community, and then network effects can take over, and you can explode, right? So the setup is all there. Chart looks good. I like the project. I'll see how it goes. If it really exceeds expectations and moves up strong and fast, I'll just keep holding it. My initial would be like I bought in at just below 20. It was about 0.195 to 0.197 or something like that. It was moving quite. It's um, relatively volatile, obviously. So it was somewhere like here, just as it was breaking out of this consolidation. And I think there was a little dump off the open this morning, and we're bouncing back up. So that's looking good already, looking quite nice. I'd like to see it break above these highs here. However, I think the momentum is strong, and I think that over the next whatever few days or weeks, it can trend up. If it breaks out, I don't really have like a clear time frame. I'm willing to hold it for a few weeks. So if it consolidates and then breaks out and has strong momentum, I'll just keep holding it. Right? If that kind of move happens in the next few weeks, then this is the bottom for the bull market, and it could potentially have a really big move. If it doesn't, if it's more like kind of slow moving, and it's like that kind of, it's just forming a new range or a base, I'll probably try and sell it at 50% or 100%. Just take a bit of profit on it. So it entirely depends on how price action develops in the next little while. So we'll see, right? That's all a bit far out to really gauge, but that's an intro to it. That's the project. That's why I like it, and it's not like a super high conviction, a cash type of trade. But if price, like if the momentum moves quickly, it will become a bag that, like, again, if it moves like that, I would see no reason to close it, right? I would just let it have its momentum. Because if it caught up to helium, that'd be a 10x. That'd be 1.2 billion. I'm not saying it's going to do that. Again, we'll see what happens. GM, GM, GM.